Obstacles are the scourge of salespeople. Last-minute resistance is the scourge of seducers and persuaders. But I'm going to tell you in this video how to overcome obstacles by leveraging your target's own experiences and own memories. This leverages a couple principles, a couple lesser-known principles of psychology. One is called identity priming. The other is our associative memory. Now, how do these work? Identity priming works when you give somebody or you suggest to somebody that they might have a positive personality trait. And once they think about having this positive personality trait and they think about all the social recognition they'll get, if other people recognize that they have this positive personality trait, they will find memories that validate that they have this positive personality trait. You can effectively engineer personality traits in people by leveraging this identity priming technique. And associative memory kicks in. Everybody's, yours, mine, natural associative memory will kick in, because once we think of one structural memory, we start to think of other memories that have the same structure. So all you have to do is make a suggestion that they have a positive personality trait. A positive personality trait they will like to imagine other people recognizing them for having, and they will find memories, and then you ask questions about those memories. You can either ask questions directly, or you can ask questions about the periphery of those memories, and just keep them talking about those past memories, and that will build up this massive collection of experiences in their brain that validate this personality trait. So what kind of personality trait do you want to give people? What kind of personality trait do you want to engineer inside other people that will destroy their objections, that will destroy their last-minute resistance to whatever you want them to do? Well, you need to understand how desires work. Humans and all animals are desire-seeking organisms. Our whole purpose is to satisfy subsequent desires and whatever desires come after those subsequent desires. We're thirsty, so we drink something. We're hungry, so we eat something. We're sleepy, so we sleep. We're done sleeping, so we wake up. And every time we do something, we have a next desire we need to achieve. But all of our desires are not pure desires. We rarely feel congruent when we go after our desires. Whenever we have a desire, there's an equal and opposite, sometimes lesser, sometimes greater, and equal and opposite inhibition to this desire. We want to get this thing, but we're afraid this might happen if we try. And so we kind of go through this kind of internal struggle with, is it worth it? Is it not worth it? Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? This comes with all of our desires. Even when you wake up in the middle of the night and you need to use the bathroom, your brain, your subconscious is like, is it worth it? Is it not worth it? Should I get up? Should I not get up? This is what happens every time we think about pursuing desires. So if you sell anything, if you seduce people, as soon as you talk to people, if you build up desires without acknowledging that the stronger their desires get, the stronger their inhibitions get, you're going to have a strong possibility of having that last-minute resistance. You're going to have the salesperson's nightmare of giving a perfect presentation, of thinking your customer is in deep rapport with you, but at the end, they'll throw out these objections, and you won't be able to overcome them because you made the critical mistake of hoping the objections never come up. So the first step is to acknowledge, no matter what kind of desires we have, no matter who you're talking to, no matter how much you build up their desires, you will also be building up their inherent inhibitions to satisfying those desires. So how do you get rid of these inhibitions? Well, you do that by using the identity priming technique. For example, let's say you're talking to someone in a social situation and the conversation's going really well, and you want to number close them, or you want to take them to a smaller bar down the street, or you want to take them back to your place, but you're afraid of last-minute resistance. So here's how you overcome last-minute resistance. You say something like this. This only works if you have a lot of rapport. You say something like this. I just got this intuition about you. Maybe it's something about your body language. Maybe about something about your nonverbal communication. But I got this kind of image of you. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe I'm hallucinating. But you seem to be the kind of person that has a lot of experience overcoming obstacles. You don't seem to be the kind of person that gives up easily. You seem to be the kind of person who, when you're going after something and life throws an unexpected obstacle in your path, you figure out a way around that obstacle. Am I correct in thinking this, or am I hallucinating? And they will almost always agree that that's the kind of person they are, even if they don't find any memories, because this is a very powerful, positive personal trait to have. If you are recognized by your peers as someone who crushes through obstacles, that is a very, very high status personality label to have. So people will very much want to accept this label. And they will go on a seek and destroy mission or a seek and find mission in their memory to find examples of them doing this. And if they can't find specific examples, all you have to do is ask questions around the periphery of these potential memories. So you ask them that question. You seem to be the kind of person who overcomes obstacles. Are you that kind of person, or am I imagining things? They'll get this look of validation on their face. And then you can say, when you do things like this, when you overcome obstacles, is this something you've always been able to do, or is this a relatively new skill? One of these is going to be the right answer. And as soon as they start to contemplate which one of these is the right answer, they will accept the presupposition that they are the kind of person that overcomes obstacles, that easily overcomes obstacles. You can say something like this: is this something that people know about you, or is this something you kind of keep secret? When you do come up to an obstacle and you crush it with extreme ruthlessness, do you do it automatically, or you need to think about it for a little bit? Another either or question, and simply by contemplating these questions, they will accept the presupposition that they are the kind of person that absolutely crushes obstacles. And this will create this obstacle crushing feeling in their brain. This will create an obstacle crushing kind of emotion, a memory structure. And this is a very, very good feeling. This is a very, very amazing feeling because, like I said, we all have desires. We all have an unlimited sequence of desires. But if we feel like every time we try to get a desire, we're going to get crushed by the obstacles, that doesn't make us feel very good. That makes us feel like we're stuck and we won't be able to achieve our life's goals and dreams and ambitions. But if we believe inside that we are the kind of person, that we do have the personality that crushes obstacles, that will make all these desires feel much more achievable, much more gettable, which will make us feel much more fantastic about our future. So even if you don't have a specific ask, even if you don't want them to do something, using this identity priming technique to presuppose that they are the kind of person that absolutely crushes obstacles, that will put them in a fantastic mood. They will see their future open up, and they will suddenly see all their desires much more achievable than before. So you presuppose they are the kind of person that crushes obstacles. You ask these periphery questions around the idea that they crush obstacles. The more you talk about them crushing obstacles, the better they'll feel, and the more they'll start to associate those good feelings with you. Now, if you do have an ask, this is really, really easy. Just kind of move on to the next part of the conversation and then just suggest what you want to suggest. Hey, you're really cool. I enjoy talking to you. You're more interesting than most people. I definitely would like to see you again. Why don't we exchange phone numbers? Or hey, well, let's go somewhere we can talk undisturbed. There's a bar down the street that I know. Or hey, let's go back to my place so I can show you that thing we were talking about earlier. Just drop in whatever ask you have, and if you do this relatively soon after you use the identity priming technique, you will have a much, much higher probability of absolutely crushing, evaporating, liquidating any last-minute resistant energy. Now, if you're in sales and you want to sell things to people, if you want to make a lot of money selling things to people, this is the same basic structure. You just do it a little bit less like an intuition and more just like a regular question. So the customer comes into your shop, and right off the bat, you assume they have a desire, but they also have an inhibition. Because if they didn't have an inhibition, they would just come into your shop and say, here's my money, where's my thing? So assume as soon as you start the conversation with someone that might buy your product, they have inhibitions to buying the product. And if you ignore them, they'll just get bigger and bigger into your mind. So you need to address them by using this identity priming technique, so that you start off by asking about their desire. And just find out why they came into your shop. What are you maybe looking to get? And then ask them the future magic wand question. If you had a magic wand and you could get this desire, and you got it in a way that made sense to you, Maybe you got it from me. Maybe you got it from somebody else, but you had it a couple of months. What does that look like? How does this change your life? How does this improve your life? What kind of things can you do in the future with this desire that you can't do now? And just ask these questions to build up their desire. And then once you've built the desire up significantly, ask them questions about how they make decisions. Now, Mr. Customer, I want you to make a good decision, because we build our relationship with customers whether or not they buy from us or not, because we like referrals. We want to make sure you get the right thing for you. So when you think about some of your best decisions you've made in the past, how did you make those decisions? And build up their memories of making good decisions. Once you do that for a while, then drop in the obstacle crushing question. Obviously, when you get what you want in life, and you seem like someone who knows how to get what you want in life, you need to come up with a way to circumvent or overcome or crush the inevitable obstacles that life throws in your path. So what is your kind of strategy for overcoming obstacles? What are some of the obstacles you've overcome in the past that you're particularly proud of? And start talking about that. And that will have the same effect. That will have the same identity priming effect. So you'll build up their desire, you build up their memories of making good decisions, then you build up their memories of crushing obstacles, and that will put them in the ideal mindset to see the product as a perfect thing without any of these inhibitions. These 3 steps, desire building, decision memories, and obstacle crushing memories, will go a long way in evaporating, destroying, liquidating, vanquishing all the obstacle energy, all the inhibition energy that they have, and they will be ravenously desirous, huge with the desire to buy your product. And this is a great way to make a lot of money in sales. I went to a seminar a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago, and there was this guest speaker there. He wasn't the teacher, but he was someone who came to the seminar a year earlier or 2 years earlier, and he was telling us about how he learned this technique. And he was selling cars when he learned this technique, and he was an average salesperson. But once he used this obstacle crushing, identity priming, associative memory technique, he started selling cars like crazy, because he would just go through this 3-step process. Build the desire, build up their decision-making memories, build up their obstacle crushing memories simply by asking questions, using things from their own past without telling them anything, using memories and sequences and memories and experiences from their own past to build up this three-step process that puts them in the perfect buying decision. And once he started to use this technique, once he started to use the identity priming technique, once he understood the associative memory property, once he understood the nature of desire, once he was able to understand the nature of desire, once he was able to understand and decouple the nature of resistance energy using the identity priming technique, he started to sell more cars than everybody else at the shop. And it was only a couple of months before he switched into real estate. And that's what he was doing when he came to give the guest lecture at the seminar, how he was making so much money in real estate. He was making like 20 grand a month, closing people right and left, simply by asking questions and using their own experiences to evaporate any obstacle energy, to evaporate any inhibition energy. And if you do the same thing, you can make as much money as you want, because this is a very simple process. You can use this technique in sales. You can use this technique in seduction. You can use this technique in social persuasion. So understand desire, understand inhibition energy, and overcome obstacles before they come up by using their own experiences to do that. If you'd like to learn more, check out the links below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.